The all or nothing woman is a turn-off to good, securely attached men in the dating pool and in relationships. In this video, I'm going to explain why that is, what to do if this is you, and how to think about this problem so you don't run into it in the future if you're kind of on the fence with these habits. Welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. What is the all or nothing woman? Now, we have identities. Identities is basically any I am statement or any way that we see ourselves. And there's certain identities that clearly don't go very well with having a healthy relationship. I'm the type of person who's impulsive and cheats on my partner a lot. I'm the type of person who avoids conflict. I'm the type of person who never leaves the house. These identities quite clearly are not going to help you have a healthy relationship at any point in your life. However, the identity I'm an all or nothing person is one that's often born with a bit of a badge of pride. It's kind of, I'm an all or nothing person. Look at me. However, it's a sinister erosion of your relationship skills. And I want to tell you why right now. You see, boundaries and relationship skills relating to them are a lot like a dartboard. You have your concentric rings, okay? And we can think of every ring like a wall. Boundaries are not walls, by the way. They're gates and hinges. The gates on those walls and how they swing open and shut is basically how your boundaries are formulated. Now, if we use the dartboard analogy, we can say that the deepest, most vulnerable parts of ourselves are in the middle, and the various concentric layers outside of that are progressively less vulnerable. Now, in an ideal world, we start a little bit vulnerable. We might meet a new stranger and we talk to them about your favorite passion or what you did on the weekend. You share little details of information about yourself that you wouldn't necessarily share with an internet stranger. We open a little bit vulnerable, and then we see how that person performs. If they're safe, if they seem good, if they share back and we've got some shared vulnerability, we go to level 2. Level 3, level 4 together. The point is the gate starts open and we progressively move the people through the layers. Now, as we're doing this, we're also seeing how someone performs at each layer and how safe they seem. For example, do they try to bust through more layers? Or are they happy to stay where they are and go at our pace? Do they take a step back if we ask them to take a step back? Are we roughly on the same page, and are they being as vulnerable as us, so we've got this shared vulnerability? When we're forming relationships through healthy boundaries, there's a slow and steady movement through those layers with a new person. However, what happens with the all or nothing woman, and this is a lot, not a lot of clients that come to me, but maybe 20%, is they don't have as much fluidity. Perhaps this is you. You may not have as much fluidity in your boundary hinges. In other words, what tends to happen is there is a lack of confidence in the ability to move someone backwards or forwards once they get further into the circle, into getting to know you. So because of that, you keep them at a distance. What I commonly see with the all or nothing woman is she is not very confident in setting those boundaries, in having those difficult conversations, in basically her relationship skills in some of those middle layers. She's okay setting boundaries when she has no bond to the person. But if this is you, if you're an all or nothing person, you'll relate. Once the person starts to connect to you and you get connected, it's like they're either all in or all out. There's not a lot of ability to move them dynamically in those middle layers. So what tends to happen with these women is they keep the gate at the top quite stuck. They know that the gates further down have some issues. They're not very good at closing. They're not likely very confident in shutting these gates, especially when they are bonded to someone. So they keep everyone at a distance. And so a bunch of people line up at the gate, the outside gate that is, and they're whacking on it, they're trying to get in, bam, 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 let me in. And unfortunately what happens is the good, securely available guys, they've already opened their first couple of gates. So they pretty quickly wander away and connect to a woman who also has opened her first couple of gates. And what's left, banging on the wall, is a bunch of guys who just love the chase. A bunch of guys who just love the challenge. And unfortunately what happens is eventually one of those guys, a lot of them get bored and wander away too, but eventually one of them cracks the code. And he bams on it and you say, all right, I like you. That gate busts open, but then so does every other gate behind it. And suddenly he's gone from all out to all in. He comes all the way forward, and now you're the one completely in love with him. You're completely connected to him, and now he has all the power, and you're feeling not confident setting boundaries with him. You basically become boundarylessness because you've let him all the way through, and there's no backstop in the further gates along. This is a problem because, number one, all the emotionally available, secure guys with good boundary function have wandered away. Number two, now this guy you're in there, he's not going to leave. So he can take advantage of you. He has power over you because you're so bonded to him now, you're not so confident setting boundaries at this stage. So the solution to this is to get confident at setting boundaries when you are more bonded to someone. You kind of have to let more people in at the start. Be less of an all or nothing person and be a little bit at the start, a more amount along the way, and more as you go kind of person. this identity of all or nothing, it's basically an excuse for not doing conflict well. It's basically saying once someone's in, I can't get them out. That's me, I can't do it. And as long as you identify with that, that will be your reality. So the growth here is not to sturify the outside gate even more so and let even fewer people in because you're worried about someone damaging the inside layers. The solution is to work on the inside layers and work on your confidence there and actually open up that first gate more, let more people in, and then press yourself to have those difficult conversations and set those boundaries in the middle layers. By doing this, you're acting in more of a secure attachment style yourself, so you're more likely to attract that to you, and you're growing your confidence in your relationship skills by being able to move guys dynamically through the layers and, of course, get rid of them if you need to from any layer. So make sure if this is your identity, you are challenging it, whether a coach, whether with a therapist or someone else, find a way to change this identity and move through this identity. Just like if you were to say, I'm not a conflictual person, or I don't do conflict, or I'm not the type that meets men, you're going to have to change some of those identities about yourself to increase your chance of having success in dating and relationship. So make sure you do the same with this particular identity about being an all or nothing person. Thanks for watching. If you have a comment, leave it below. I'd love to hear. And otherwise, if you want a one-on-one session, you can book via the link in the description below. Give the video a thumbs up, hit the big red subscribe button with the little bell, and I'll see you in the next one very soon.